It's been a long season for the Blue Jays, but especially for Davis Schneider, who has been struggling all year long. After the first 2 months of this season, Davis Schneider has been a shell of his former self. He only hit for a batting average of 151 and an OPS of 460 since the month of June. And the tough conversations began to emerge about what to do with Davis Schneider moving forward. Should the Blue Jays demote Davis Schneider to AAA Buffalo to have him work out his struggles at the dish? Well, clearly, as we know, the Blue Jays didn't go in that direction, and maybe it was for the better. Because lately, Davis Schneider is reminding us all on why we used to call him Babe. As of recording this video, Davis Schneider has homered in 3 straight games while going 7 for 12 at the plate. This latest performance from Davis Schneider has sparked a frenzy in Blue Jays Nation about the return of Babe Schneider. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today. In this one, we're going to discuss Davis Schneider and how he was able to break out of this huge slump he was in, and as well, does that impact his role on his team moving forward? Before we get into it, guys, I encourage you to hit that like button and subscribe to Blue Jays Today if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Blue Jays news and content. Now, right out of the gate, I want to make it very clear. Davis Schneider has had an incredible 3 games as of recording this video, but Davis Schneider has also had a pretty horrific 3.5 months before that. His season-long numbers still sit below average with a 203 batting average and an OPS of 657. So by no means does 3 games make up for an entire season. However, we can also say that this season shouldn't be the defining one of who Davis Schneider will be or what he could become. Davis Schneider has only had 485 career at-bats, which is about 1/3 of the way to that magical 1,500 at-bat mark where you can get a good idea of who a player is at that point. A player needs to go through all of the highs and all of the lows during that 1,500 at-bat stretch to really get an idea of who they truly are. And some players who struggle earlier in their careers never get the opportunity to reach that 1,500 at-bat mark because some of them are on teams that need guys who are at a high competitive level right now. But the Blue Jays are not that team this season, and they're well below 500, and fortunate for Davis Schneider, he's been given the opportunity to work through his struggles at the major league level. And with 2 weeks left in the regular season, it feels like Davis Schneider has started to find his groove at the plate. Davis has been hitting the ball a lot harder during this stretch. 5 of his last 7 hits have gone for over 100 miles per hour of exit velocity. And according to Dan Schulman, it's because Davis Schneider has started to look for his pitches to attack at the plate, and when he gets them, he's looking to do damage on them. 3 of his last 7 hits have come from middle pitches, and all of which were different pitch types and different velocities. So clearly, when there's a mistake pitch, Davis is doing damage on it. And more notably, 3 of those 7 hits have come from fastballs in the upper part of the zone. If you remember the video I made about a month ago, I talked about how Davis Schneider was getting beaten at the plate with the upper fastballs. And I said it very clearly, if Davis Schneider can adjust to the upper fastballs and begin doing damage on them, then that's when he comes out of this elongated slump. And in this recent stretch, 2 of his 3 home runs have come from the upstairs fastball. Davis Schneider has clearly been putting in the work to make these adjustments at the big league level to get out of this slump. Davis said, "I'm still working hard in the cages and with our coaches. That never changes, but seeing the ball a little bit better lately." And even his teammates have noticed the work that Davis has been putting in. Clement said, "He gets here around noon. He's in the weight room. He's hitting off the tee and working. He's probably the first one at the ballpark every single day." Davis is obviously one of the most likable guys on this Blue Jays team, and it clearly shows that his coaches and his teammates, they have his back, and they appreciate the work that he's been putting in to get out of this slump. And it's a great sign to see that his efforts are really starting to show in the last 2 weeks of the season. Which brings me to the question we are all wondering. Does this recent stretch affect Davis Schneider's future with this team in 2025?
Time for a quick shout out to Betway. Betway is the best place to make all of your sports bets on all of your favorite teams. Betway is also in collaboration with iGaming Ontario. Must be 19 years older to participate. And guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
I think it's great that Davis Schneider has shown resilience at the big league level and is starting to show some good results at the end of this season. But from a Blue Jays roster perspective, I still wouldn't be locking in Davis Schneider as an everyday type of player. I would still be looking at him as a bench utility role, and if the free agent market or trade market depicts, if there has to be someone to be moved off the roster and it just so happens to be Davis Schneider, then it might have to be him going down to AAA to start the year. Davis Schneider has so far been a very streaky type of player, and if the Blue Jays have a roster that that they think they can compete with, then Davis Schneider might be relegated to some sort of utility role off the bench, or possibly a stint in the minor leagues, maybe a Texas squad call-up at some point. But I will say this, it does give me hope that Davis Schneider has made a very big adjustment at the big league level, and I hope for his sake and for the Blue Jays' sake that he is able to find some more consistency at the plate and that he could be a regular day player at some point in his future. But folks, you let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about Davis Schneider? Thank you so much for watching, and as always guys, go Jays go!